Two astronauts have ventured outside of the International Space Station. The spacewalk is being undertaken by NASA's Mark Vanda and JAXA's Norishka Kani, who are tasked with moving components for the station's robotic system into long-term storage. Well, joining us now from Oaxaca in Mexico to discuss the mission is Danish astronaut Per Wimmer. Welcome to you, Mr. Wimmer. They're going out to fix some part of the robotic equipment there. I'm just wondering, how often do astronauts actually get to go out like that?
Oh, this is a very, very special day for the astronauts, in particular for Mark and Norishka there, to be up there in the International Space Station and carry out a spacewalk. It's kind of, to go to the International Space Station as an astronaut is kind of like an athlete going to the Olympic Games. And to actually get to do an EVA, i.e. step outside and do a spacewalk, is almost like winning a medal at the Olympic Games. So this is a big day. This is something you'll remember for the rest of your life. Typically, astronauts would, if they're lucky, they'll get to do 1, 2, or 3 of these.
Have you done one?
Not yet, but I'd love to do what I tell you. I'm watching this very, very carefully. I'd love to be out there.
And what are the technical challenges of doing the spacewalk in terms of, wearing the suit, in terms of the atmosphere? Just talk us through it.
There certainly is a lot of challenges. For starters, the temperature shift can be enormous, whether you're in the sun or you're out in the shade. The temperature swings can be quite enormous, so your spacesuit has to sort of accommodate that and adjust. Also, we've got to make sure the oxygen is working, etc. When astronauts do a spacewalk, it's usually very, very carefully choreographed. So almost minute by minute, they know exactly what to do. So sadly, they don't get a lot of time to sort of enjoy the great views. They usually get a little bit of time for it, but they are quite busy on a very, very tight schedule to do exactly what they're set up to do. For Mark, it's actually his second time out there, so I'm sure he'll be able to do a little bit more enjoyment of it because he now knows what he's up to. So I think it'll be a great day for him.
And what sort of distances are we talking about?
So it's usually what they're doing right now is just repairing the Canadarm. Mark went out early in October, first time around, to do the first part of that repair, and this is his second spacewalk. It's usually just outside the International Space Station, but obviously there's risk. I mean, they are attached. They do stay close to the International Space Station. It's not as if they're floating out in space. But it's not an unrisky risk in that. There's always risk when you do these things. But fortunately, NASA's got the dry book very much under control.
What sort of things can go wrong?
For instance, suddenly if the spacesuit doesn't work, there could be a lot of condensation inside the spacesuit. There was a previous astronaut who had problems seeing suddenly, and you can't just put your finger in your eye and sort of wipe it out if you can't see it either on the visor or on your eye. That has happened before, which is very annoying and potentially dangerous if you can't see. We have seen that before actually happening, and being blind out there trying to do things is obviously not good. But in general, NASA's got this drill very much under control. But it is a big day for astronauts to go out there. It's very, very exciting. It is like winning a medal at the Olympic Games. And
you were talking about the temperature differences. I mean, just put some numbers on that for me. Like, what are the extremes that we're looking at?
Oh, it can get extremely cold. I mean, space is a very cold, desolate, and hostile space. So you can go down to minus, several, a lot of different minus degrees, and you can go up to being very, very hot if you're in the sun. It's kind of like being bang in the middle of the sun if you're out there, and so the span can be enormous. But the spacesuit is really equipped for that.
And those returning, do they celebrate?
Oh, yes, you bet. There's usually a get-together for astronauts. It's a big day. It's something to celebrate with family, space friends, and other people in general who are generally interested in the space industry.
Oh, Per Wimmer, very good to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is